There is a question that lingers in the minds of those who feel they were sent into the world with a purpose yet find themselves shackled by the very home meant to nurture them. Why must I endure this? It is a question that haunts the weary soul and tempts it toward despair. For what justice is there in a world where those gifted with vision are placed among the blind? Why are those called to healing placed among the wounded, those called to truth placed among deceivers, and those called to love placed where love is scarce? Yet, if one is to consider the matter deeply, a pattern begins to emerge, one that suggests neither cruelty nor misfortune, but rather preparation. Adversity as the furnace of strength. It is an easy thing to admire a mountain from a distance, but only the one who climbs it understands its nature. Likewise, wisdom is not gained in places of ease. Strength is not the inheritance of the sheltered. It is the struggle that chisels away weakness, the trial that forces the soul to awaken, and the storm that teaches one to stand. Those who are born into disorder are given a gift that many fail to recognize, the intimate knowledge of what must be changed. A person who has known suffering is equipped to bring relief. A person who has witnessed deception can discern truth. The very affliction that seemed to mark their destruction is, in fact, the shaping of their destiny. The burden of seeing. To be born among the lost while carrying the light of understanding is no small burden. There is pain in seeing what others refuse to see, in knowing what they reject. The chosen ones will often find themselves as the black sheep, the misfits, the ones who do not conform. But their difference is not a flaw, it is a mark of their calling. There is a reason they feel alien to their surroundings. The place where they were born is not the place where they are meant to remain. Their awareness, their heartache, their restlessness, it is all a summons to something greater. Breaking the cycle. A river does not flow backward, and neither do those called to change the course of their lineage. The chosen ones are not meant to replicate the wounds of their upbringing, but to heal them. It is a difficult task, for one cannot teach what they have not learned, and healing does not come from ignorance, but from confrontation. They must see their suffering not as chains that bind them, but as lessons that prepare them. It is through their endurance that they will one day become a refuge for others. The purpose beyond pain. There is no triumph in merely escaping a toxic environment unbroken. The true victory lies in transforming pain into wisdom, fear into courage, and resentment into understanding. Many seek to run from their past, but the chosen ones are called to do something far greater. They are called to redeem it. For those who wonder why their life began in struggle, know this: gold is not found in palaces, but in the depths of the earth, refined only by fire. And so it is with the chosen ones. They are sent into difficulty, not to be defeated by it, but to rise above it, bringing light to those still lost in the dark. Let them take heart. Their suffering is not the end of the story, it is merely the beginning of a legacy. Hardship, though often unwelcome, serves a function that ease never could. It is a crucible, a place of refinement where impurities are burned away, and the raw material of the soul is shaped into something stronger. The chosen ones, Those burdened with purpose are not placed into comfortable beginnings, for comfort breeds complacency. Instead, they are born into struggle that they might learn the nature of strength before they are ever called to use it. The furnace of adversity does not discriminate. It engulfs all who step within its reach. But there is a difference between those who are consumed by it and those who are refined. The chosen ones are not meant to be victims of their suffering, but rather students of it. They are meant to endure the fire, not as something that destroys, but as something that reveals. It is within the depths of difficulty that they come to understand resilience, perseverance, and the endurance of the soul. Consider the making of a sword. A blade of true worth is not forged in stillness. It is heated until it glows, struck until it yields, and cooled until it hardens. This process is not gentle, nor is it swift, but it is necessary. Without it, the metal remains weak, unfit for battle. And so it is with the chosen ones. Their trials are not arbitrary, they are purposeful. Each hardship endured is a blow of the hammer, shaping them into the instrument they were always meant to be. A life untouched by suffering is a life untouched by depth. Those who are shielded from difficulty remain fragile, for they have never been tested. They do not know what they are capable of surviving, nor do they possess the wisdom that hardship brings. The chosen ones, by contrast, are made to endure much, for they will be required to carry much. Their struggles are not senseless afflictions, but a preparation for the weight of their calling. One does not become strong by avoiding struggle. Strength is cultivated in the face of resistance. A tree that grows in still air develops shallow roots, easily toppled by the first great wind. But a tree that grows in the storm must dig deep to remain standing. Its roots spread wide, its foundation strengthens, and when the winds come, it does not fall. In the same way, the chosen ones are made to endure storms, not so they may break under them, but so they may learn to stand firm. Pain is not an enemy, it is a teacher. It strips away illusion, revealing truth with unrelenting clarity. It forces one to confront weakness, to acknowledge limitation, and to find a strength that is not borrowed but built. Those who have never suffered often mistake ease for success, but the chosen ones learn that true power is found in perseverance. They do not crumble when trials arise, for they have already learned how to endure. The world does not shape its greatest leaders, healers, and visionaries in places of comfort. It shapes them in hardship. It takes them through betrayal, isolation, rejection, and despair, not to break them, but to teach them. A leader who has never known suffering cannot guide those who suffer. A healer who has never been wounded cannot understand the depth of another's pain. A visionary who has never walked through darkness cannot lead others into light. To the chosen ones, their suffering may seem cruel, unnecessary, even unjust. But in time they will see that it was not meant to destroy them but to prepare them. They will see that the very wounds they resented were the ones that granted them wisdom. The very struggles they wished to escape were the ones that made them strong. And the very fire they feared was the fire that forged them into something unbreakable. There exists a peculiar weight carried by those who see what others do not. Awareness is not merely the ability to perceive, It is the inability to ignore. The chosen ones, born into toxic families, often possess a heightened sensitivity to the world around them. They notice the unspoken tension in a room, the dishonesty behind a smile, the pain hidden beneath laughter. This awareness is not something they acquire, it is something they are born with, an innate understanding that the world is not as it appears to be. While others accept dysfunction as normal, the chosen ones feel its wrongness in their bones. They are unsettled by the patterns that others blindly follow. The lies told within the family are transparent to them, the hypocrisies glaring. They see manipulation where others see tradition. They sense cruelty where others call it discipline. They recognize emotional starvation where others call it resilience. And this knowing isolates them. To see truth where others do not is to walk a lonely path. It is to bear witness to reality while being told it does not exist. The chosen ones are often labeled as overly sensitive, dramatic, rebellious, or ungrateful, not because they are wrong, but because their perception disrupts the illusion that others wish to maintain. A toxic family thrives on denial. It survives by convincing its members that dysfunction is normal. And so, when a chosen one questions this reality, they become the problem, not the dysfunction itself. Gaslighting becomes their daily bread. They are told that what they feel is imagined, that what they see is false, that what they know in their heart is incorrect. They are forced to doubt their own mind, to second-guess their own instincts. And yet, despite the pressure to conform, the awareness remains. They may try to silence it, to bury it beneath compliance, but truth does not die simply because it is ignored. Awareness is a gift, but in a toxic environment, it feels like a curse. It is easier to be blind, easier to accept lies, easier to follow the patterns handed down without question. But the chosen ones cannot do this. The burden of seeing is that they must act upon what they know. They cannot pretend. They cannot be at peace in a world built on falsehoods. They will either challenge the dysfunction or remove themselves from it. There is no middle ground. This knowing, this deep and inescapable perception forces them into an internal struggle. If they remain silent, they betray themselves. If they speak out, they become the enemy. There is no safety in awareness. It either isolates them from their family or forces them to abandon themselves. And so they learn to live with the weight of understanding, carrying knowledge that others refuse to acknowledge. Their ability to see through the illusions of their upbringing often extends beyond their family. It shapes how they interact with the world. They recognize manipulation in friendships, dishonesty in leadership, and patterns of toxicity in relationships long before others do. While this awareness protects them, it also exhausts them. They cannot live in ignorance, cannot find comfort in false security. They are always watching, always questioning, always discerning. The chosen ones often long for simplicity, the ability to accept what is given without dissecting it. But their minds are wired for depth. They cannot turn off their insight any more than they can stop breathing. They feel everything more deeply, question everything more thoroughly, and see everything more clearly. This burden, though heavy, is also what makes them different. It is what sets them apart. It is what prepares them for something greater. To carry awareness in a world that thrives on ignorance is not an easy task. It means standing alone when others conform. It means seeking truth even when it is painful. It means enduring misunderstanding, rejection, and isolation. And yet, this burden is also their greatest strength, for it is only those who see clearly who can ever hope to change what is broken. There is no growth without resistance. A seed does not become a tree without pushing through the soil. A flame does not burn bright without consuming what is weak. Strength is not given freely. It is cultivated through opposition. The chosen ones, born into toxic families, are not placed there by accident. They are placed in an environment where every truth they hold will be challenged, where every instinct will be tested, where every shred of their identity will be called into question. It is in this battle that they are forged. Opposition comes in many forms. Sometimes it is overt, words spoken to diminish, actions taken to control, expectations designed to break the spirit rather than nurture it. Other times, it is subtle neglect disguised as independence, guilt masquerading as love, manipulation woven so tightly into daily life that it becomes indistinguishable from care. The chosen ones grow up in this battlefield, learning early that survival is not guaranteed by compliance, nor is peace ensured by silence. Every great figure throughout history has faced opposition. The wise are resisted by the ignorant. The strong are challenged by the fearful. The healers are rejected by those who would rather remain wounded. It is no different within the family. The chosen ones do not merely suffer, they disrupt. Their presence alone is a contradiction to the dysfunction around them. When they refuse to accept the roles assigned to them, when they question the rules that no one else will, they become the threat. Toxic families rely on cycles. Patterns are passed down through generations, not out of conscious choice, but because they have been normalized. Control is mistaken for love. Shame is used in place of guidance, and silence is required for survival. The chosen ones, however, cannot accept what does not feel right. They resist what others endure. They question what others obey, and in doing so, they create conflict. It is in this conflict that they are shaped. A warrior does not learn to fight in times of peace. They learn in the midst of struggle, forced to develop strategy, endurance, and resilience. The chosen ones are given these very lessons. They learn the weight of their own voice because they have been silenced. They learn the power of boundaries because they have been violated. They learn discernment because they have been deceived. They are not merely suffering, they are being prepared. The opposition they face is not meant to destroy them. It is meant to show them what they are capable of withstanding. When they are criticized, they learn not to seek validation from the wrong places. When they are isolated, they learn to stand alone. When they are doubted, they learn to trust themselves. Every hardship they endure is a lesson in disguise, a sharpening of the mind and spirit. Toxic families, by their nature, resist change. They are built on unspoken rules, on roles that must not be questioned. The chosen ones, simply by existing as they are, disrupt these foundations. Their independence is seen as rebellion. Their refusal to conform is seen as ingratitude. Their need for truth is seen as an attack. But this opposition is not a sign that they are wrong. It is a sign that they are different. It is a sign that they were never meant to be shaped by the family, but rather to rise beyond it. When a person is met with opposition, they are given a choice. They can break under the pressure or they can use it to grow. The chosen ones, by nature, do not break. They bend, they endure, they adapt, but they do not shatter. Each conflict sharpens them. Each rejection fuels their determination. Each moment of doubt forces them to strengthen their convictions. They do not emerge from opposition weaker. They emerge transformed. The very resistance they face within their family is proof of their purpose. If they were meant to blend in, they would have done so with ease. If they were meant to follow the path laid before them, they would not have felt the urge to question it. Their hardship is not a mistake. It is a fire meant to forge them into something greater than the circumstances they were born into. They were never meant to remain confined by their origins. They were meant to rise above them.